International Calling Challenge. Can Paul pull in British Muntjac and African Duiker using the same technique? We have a Fieldsports Nation exclusive offer from Jack Pike. Electronic ear defenders at a fraction of the price. Like you're hearing, once they're gone, they're gone. Plus, Eco Hunters. We mark the 5th of June, World Environment Day, by visiting Red Kettle Clothing, a small company with a big green heart. Plus, there's also a chance to win one of their new organic cotton jackets. We have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. It's a double destination, deer and antelope double bill. We're in South Africa after Duiker, and we're in Bedfordshire after Muntjac. Why, you may ask? Well, it's an experiment to see if Paul's calling technique crosses continents and species. We know Paul has great results drawing the small Muntjac deer out of cover in the UK by mimicking the sound of a young deer, but will it work on Africa's small antelope? There's only one way to find out.
Right, last day then, Nico. This is Hubertus call. We use it's traditionally for roe deer, but I use it for Muntjac. And we call them the Muntjac and they come in from whichever angle. And the roe deer obviously come in because it's in the rut. But Muntjac, you can get them any time of the year. So what do you think?
I've never seen someone call a duiker or any other antelope species in except where they react with. We've got a foxborough caller out.
Oh yeah,
calling for jackal. They might react on that, but I've never seen someone call a antelope species in South Africa or in Africa for that matter. So it'll be interesting to see if it works. If it works, it will definitely be
the next big craze.
Yeah.
That's a bit of fun anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's give it a go.
We've already seen Duiker along this dry riverbed earlier in our stay, so we try here first. Back at home, and Paul is doing the guiding, so knows where his guest needs to be. In this case, Sacco Marketing Director Klaus Bjorksten, who's never hunted munties before.
It's good weather for calling them, a little bit early at the minute, so we'll give it to another hour. Sometimes you can call them with 10 calls, 10 peeps, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's light, sometimes it's loud. There's no set way of doing it. You gauge it and see what they're coming into, and then you run with that day. So, yeah, fingers crossed we get a few coming in. This is not the most prettiest bit of ground, but it produces a nice few deer, and we need to take a few off. So, yeah, we'll give it a go.
Paul's not just using the same call in both locations, but also the same barrel and brass. The Sacco Carbon Light in 243 with 70 grain game head varmint bullet, ideal for the smaller species. Paul works through his repertoire in the northern and the southern hemispheres, but the animals are playing hard to get. In the UK it could be just one of those days. However, in the Eastern Cape, the Duikers may just not care. After half a dozen stands and a few fleeting glances, we have a Muntjac buck in our sights.
You can see the call works well.
With Klaus locked in position, the little buck takes 10 minutes to give him the right angle.
Can you see him clearly or not? He's coming towards us, so. Yeah. Let him come. Not yet. Okay, here we go. He's going to come clear now. Is he? Not quite. Wait. Okay. Okay. Shot. You would have me worried. The suspense. Ah. Well done. I'm trying to get him out the brush. Well done. Good shot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like I say, some days they just come and some days they just don't. And you could hear that call, clear as a bell, but he wasn't interested. Whereas for a buck, you'd think a young buck, normally they're ones you can call in 2 or 3 times.
They're curious.
Yeah. Here he is. Little diddle of that. Yeah. Little buck. Perfect one. Little tiny. Yeah, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
It's all thanks to you.
Well, I don't know about that. God, that was hard work this morning, wasn't it? That's good though. Earned it. We earned it, which is. So compared to the moose.
This is, like you said, it's about the size of the head.
Oh dear.
We cross from Bedfordshire to the Bushveld and its Last Chance Saloon and a high seat. Incredibly, whether it's good fortune or just good tunes, a duiker comes into play. We're not convinced the call is working, but it's certainly not scaring it off.
Thank you.
Got him.
That's good.
So what made you spot him?
I'd like to say me calling, but I think he was grazing on the bush.
It's a beautiful little specimen,
nice
and
little
Paul
one.
can see a lot of similarities between
Thank you very much, buddy.
Muntjac and the antelope, especially the scent glands.
Perfect. It's quite similar in some ways. Size is very similar, probably slightly longer legs. Muntjac got thinner, smaller feet probably, just about. Similar's got a tail as well.
Okay.
Bit more whiter, bigger tail. The hair's quite similar too, but Muntjac had a red like top of his head here,
Oh yeah. Okay.
really red. And their glands are this is like an open gland. You can pull it open, it goes right down, right in deep. But it's quite unique. This gland comes right out.
Okay.
Look at that, right out like that. Yeah. Scent glands as well, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, Paul, does the Muntjac have testicles as well?
Not as big as that. They are a serious pair. Yeah.
Smell it.
I've got to, haven't I? Not strong. Not to me anyway.
You're not a female duiker.
No, or a male one.
And you've got a gold.
Yeah. Happy with the shot?
Yep. Perfect. And was the 243 were they 90 gram with it?
No. 70s, yeah.
And Klaus, how have you found your British hunting experience with Paul then? So it's Chinese and Muntjac, first time.
Chinese and Muntjac, it's been incredible. In more ways than one, but really unique, I have to say. It's just the opportunity to be out here in the wild, and with Paul's expertise guidance, it makes life much more easy. So.
when you said you were coming over to shoot these, do people know what you're talking about?
Some do, but most people are completely unaware, and when you explain to them that they're deer with tusks, they just look at you sort of incredulously.
It's a successful end to an amazing week with Nico on the family ranch. From kudu to impala, bushbuck and now duiker, each has offered a new experience and something tasty to eat. If you would like to hunt with Nico, go to ecbushvelthunting.co.za, and for more information about the Sacco range of rifles and cartridges, go to sacco.fi and follow them at sacco_international on Instagram. Thank you, Paul, thank you, Nico, and thank you, Klaus. And if any of our viewers do use calls to bring in plains game in Africa, please drop us a line and let us know. Now, someone who was never trained to come to the call. It's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The RSPB is actively calling for the Scottish Government to ban grouse shooting. A review on grouse shooting by Professor Alan Verity for the Scottish Government is to be published before the season starts. Ahead of publication, the RSPB rules that either the government should ban driven grouse shooting or reform it to the point where it's effectively banned. The charity wants to replace the UK system of estates and gamekeepers with its own centralised control system for bird life. Langham Moor is up for sale. 25 years ago, it was one of the best grouse moors in southern Scotland. Then its owner, the Buccleuch estate, let the RSPB and Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust test out not managing predators, an experiment that turned the moor into a wildlife desert. The RSPB later denied its own findings. At the time, the GWCT refused to criticise the RSPB. The last scientific report from Langham, published in April 2019, showed that when gamekeepers legally controlled predators, red-listed curlew numbers rose 10% a year and golden plover populations rose 16%. The RSPB was a partner in that project. Langham is part of 25,000 acres now for sale via Savills. Despite pressure from antis and death threats, Yorkshire Water has come out in favour of grouse shooting. In a statement on its website, it lists the environmental progress it's made on its estate and says a decision to ban shooting would put all this progress at risk by damaging relationships with key stakeholders, without having any real impact in the short and medium term in the areas where shooting was banned. The Dutch postcode lottery is supporting controversial rewilding projects. It has paid out nearly €4 million to an organisation called Rewilding Europe, which funds the rewilding of 100,000 hectares in Romania, Lapland, Bulgaria and Portugal. The founders of Rewilding Europe believe that unmanaged areas will sustain good populations of wildlife. A farmer in Wales is so fed up with tourists leaving litter at a beauty spot on his farm that he's blocked the entrance with 70 tonnes of slate. Sheep farmer Alan Titley used a digger to block the only access to Blue Lake, a spectacular flooded quarry in Gwynedd, North Wales. Around 40 bags of rubbish were removed from the site in recent weeks. A violent vegan organisation met its match when it protested outside a Yorkshire butcher's shop. Angry shoppers remonstrated with the protesters who sat down in front of a line of butcher stalls at the Moor Market in Sheffield. The butcher paraded around the group from Direct Action Yorkshire with a sale sign. West Midland hunt saboteurs are targeting businesses that support the Atherston hunt. It has posted a map of businesses it says help the Atherston, which goes trail hunting, and called on its members to ask them to end support of blood sports. An American bowhunter has landed up in the media because she goes bow hunting with her baby. 30-year-old stay-at-home mum Rebecca Stevens from Ohio reveals how she hunts with her 9-month-old daughter in tow. She goes after deer, turkeys and rabbits with little Isabella strapped to her back. Botswana has reopened hunting to save its dwindling wildlife. Under pressure from animal rights extremists, Botswana banned hunting in 2014. Here is President Mokgweetsi Masisi of Botswana responding to an anti at a press conference in Las Vegas and being a boss.
This is not just convince her to listen, and I will talk to her and invite her to Botswana to come and see what we've done because we care.
CITES is considering banning woolly mammoths. The organisation, made up from governments around the world that rules on which trophies you can take across borders, is considering ending the trade in an animal that's already extinct. Its motivation is tied to monitoring of the ivory trade and a clampdown on ivory smuggling. US anglers are in for a cash windfall. Colorado Parks and Wildlife is offering anglers $20 per fish to remove invasive northern pike from a 335-acre reservoir. Northern pike and other invasive fish species eat the trout shown in this film that the state stocks, says the agency. Now, you've probably heard of car sharing schemes and Boris bikes. Now there's a horse sharing scheme. A Danish startup called Hooves wants to reduce the average £1,000 a month it costs to own a horse. It has built an app that connects owners and renters. It's looking for funding to market it. And finally, a film that's going viral on Facebook at the moment shows one lucky ibex. Having long horns and living on mountainsides in the trees, it was bound to happen. Thought to have originated in Italy, the film shows one animal that gets away with it. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stuck in the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. And if you want to see more news, go to our website. Fastest way to get there is F-Channel. Now, a Fieldsports Nation exclusive offer. Remember those? We go to the trade and we say, give us a deal, and we pass it on to you. Jack Pike is offering 20 pairs of its ear defenders for game and for clay shooting. The electronic ear defenders reduce high-level noise above 82 decibels and amplify the low stuff, so you can hear beaters being rude about you at 100 yards. The RRP for these is £56.95. Our exclusive offer price is £39.95, 30% off. For more information and to buy a pair of the Jack Pike electronic ear defenders, go to F-Channel/exclusive offer. Right, today, the 5th of June, is United Nations World Environment Day. Now, we know we have got better green credentials than any other community, but what about the kit we use? Well, we've been to see a young company that's pushing its environmental message harder than most. For Christian Saugman, Red Kettle is campfires, it's friendship, adventure, hunting, and a healthy understanding and respect of nature. And all of that is the inspiration for his clothing brand.
If you're into hunting, you're into nature, and if you're into nature, you should think about your impact on the natural environment, not just when you're hunting, how you dress, and really also beyond it. And I think that agenda is sort of starting to kick off a little bit, but I feel that at Red Kettle we need to do a lot more about it.
He wants to make clothing that is naturally suited to the natural environment. He has developed design and function from his passion for hunting and adventure. Then there's the fabric, organic Ventile cotton, an amazing, truly breathable textile that expands when wet. But Christian has to compete with a modern hunter's mindset.
I think, unfortunately, a lot of people think about this kind of outfit when they buy a hunting jacket. People are afraid of being wet or uncomfortable. I'm not saying you're going to be wet or uncomfortable in a Ventile jacket, because you won't. It'll keep you dry in rain. But this is what people have in mind when they buy a hunting jacket. And I think it's overkill. Fabric-wise here, we're using Ventile cotton, and we're using an organic Ventile cotton because we think it's much better for the environment. It's less intensive in terms of water, it's less intensive in terms of pesticides. And Ventile cotton is old school, high tech, in the sense that it's very, very comfortable, and it'll keep you dry still in pretty heavy rain. Compared to a membrane, which we also do, my preference is to have something that breathes and let me work hard without getting uncomfortable. The fit, we done stuff like the articulated elbows, CITES shoulder rifle. It's easy to get around doing those hunting movement patterns. And we laid the pockets out so the waist pockets are on the side, don't get away when you're stalking or crawling. And then finally, in terms of the features, we have a pocket layout where you can distribute your gear on your body, shoulders for instance. And then finally we have a Velcro panel in here we started adding, where you can clip on pouches, so you can have a little bit of modularity in the way that you use your gear.
Christian is a product manager by profession and has sacrificed stuff like a sensible career to grow the Red Kettle brand. It's more than a business. It's a cultural thing, a sustainable thing, and he wants it to have strong environmental credentials. He's even signed up to donate 1% of profits to help environmental programs.
Sustainability as a small business doesn't make sense in terms of the obstacles we're creating and the additional cost we're creating for ourselves and frankly on the products. But as a hunter, it is completely the right thing to do. And I think that's an agenda that we can't stay away from, because as a hunter we want to further nature, we want to make sure that nature is there for future generations. So that's just a no-brainer for us.
Not so long ago, Christian might have been called a tree hugger. But aren't all hunters tree huggers really? And maybe it's time for the big boys of the shooting industry to start learning from Red Kettle's philosophy by giving us the products that tree huggers would demand. Thank you, Christian, and there is definitely a new whiff of green in the air. Hunters and shooters are of course the original eco-warriors, eco-blokes perhaps. It would be a shame if on today of all days the conservationists successfully claimed that it was all their idea. Now, would you like to win one of Christian's light Ventile organic cotton hunting jackets? All you have to do to win one in a draw we'll be holding in a few weeks' time is put the words Red Kettle into the description below this film on YouTube or on Facebook. Now, from cotton candy to digital eye candy, it's Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. If you are in the mood for Roebuck, this film from Potterick 81 Hunting in Poland shows best moments out after this pretty little deer in May. Our own tame deer stalker Jason Doyle talks to Peter Jones of County Deer Stalking about his favourite calibers for stalking reds in Scotland in this film. It's good advice. From Scotland to Wales, and Julian Morris, the founder of this channel, Welsh Fieldsports, sends me pigeon shooting in Wales out of the shooting trailer on wheat. We have a couple of new subscribers I notice with big channels of their own. Andrei Pavlov's channel is about his travels in the woods and hunting in his native Russia, and Chaspro from Morocco celebrates sport in his country. This video is about partridge shooting. More sport overseas, and driven wild boar hunting in Malaysia is often as close range as this. The channel Malaysia Outdoor Sport puts up short clips of him waiting for boar with his GoPro on. The popular Science channel looks at how clay pigeons are made with the help of clay pigeon manufacturer Laporte. This film has had 500,000 views in a week. And finally, a spot of surprisingly civilised debate. US talk show host Joe Rogan says why he likes hunting to UK comedian Russell Brand, who says why he doesn't, and they get on fine. Off the back of that, we have of course asked Mr. Brand if he'd like to come and observe deer stalking near his home in Oxfordshire. We await his reply. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so, please pop over to our website. Fastest way to get there, as I said before, is F Channel. Fieldsports Channel is its full name. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And of course, you can pop your email address, as many of you have, about 10,000 so far, to receive our newsletter, which will bring you news about Fieldsports Britain. It's out 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. Plus, you can back us. Go to fchannel/shares, fieldsportschannel.tv/shares. I'll see you next week. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.